All right, folks. Let's start winding down. Start getting into this discussion for Black Panther, guys. Oh, man. Wakanda Forever, baby. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. We miss you, man. We miss you. But what a great follow-up to the first film. Guys, I am joined today by some very special guests, and I cannot wait to get into this discussion for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But hey, if it's your first time on the channel, y'all be sure to hit that big red subscribe button for your boy, guys. We're talking all things geeky on the channel. So hit that subscribe button, and man, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to break down here. We got us a new villain. We got a new Black Panther. Guys, we got a lot to talk about here, but hey, welcome in if you're watching, and feel free to contribute in the chat at any time. We had Edward Nigma pop by a little bit earlier, said this movie was so good. Just imagine if Chadwick was in it, gone too soon. Yes, I agree. Gone way too soon. What a hero he always will be. But guys, let's not wait too much longer. I'm going to get to my guests and we will get started, guys. Starting off with my man from Film Optics and Critics Play Games. If you're on YouTube, check them out. And if you're on podcast platforms, check out Film Optics. I'm talking my man, Christian. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's up?
Let's go, baby.
Hey. What's going on, man? It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. It's an early morning, but I'm here.
All right.
The gym kicked my butt a little bit too much this morning, but I made it through. But thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to talk all things Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for coming on, bro. It's always a pleasure having you. So thank you for coming. And we've got from the Chatter After and the Novice Cinephile YouTube channel, I've got my man Mike. What's going on, Mike? How are you?
Glory to Hanuman. Thank you for having me, guys. What a movie. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate that. That is the biggest applause I've ever received in my life. That means the world to me. Shout out to my guy Edward Nigma in the chat. Riddler was right, everybody. Don't forget that.
It's very true.
I mean, man, remember when he cut that voice off? I was like, hey, everybody.
Hey, guys, thanks for 500 subscribers. I was like, what?
With that said, make sure you like and subscribe to Geekly Goods. You don't want to miss a thing.
Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Well, unfortunately, we did have a passing yesterday as well. So we just want to say rest in peace, Kevin Conroy, as well. Really sad loss yesterday. Our Batman, always and forever. Batman, the animated series, is a masterpiece. So big loss in the community. So sad to lose him. Always and forever, Batman. Always and forever.
Yeah, he's vengeance. He's the knight. He will forever be Batman.
Forever.
Not a lot of celebrity deaths actually have me in tears. This one, as low as Chadwick's did. So, yeah. R.I.P. Kevin.
Yeah.
You're the GOAT.
The GOAT, baby. The GOAT. The GOAT. Well, let's move on to something a little bit brighter here. We're going to talk our initial thoughts from Wakanda Forever. I mean, seriously, just stepping out of that theater, So heavy, lots of thoughts, a lot to take in. Christian, I'm gonna come to you first, though, man. What were your initial thoughts right after leaving Black Panther: Wakanda Forever?
Oh boy. So I saw this film twice, once on Monday, and then Thursday night with a friend. And when I first watched it, my first watch, I feel like it's one of those things where you've watched something, but you feel like you haven't watched it. But it still hit me all the same because I've not watched a film with Chadwick Boseman since his passing. And to kind of prep myself, I watched the original Black Panther, and it kind of just, I don't know, it hit me different. But going into Wakanda Forever, it's so grand. It's on a very big scale, much like Spider-Man No Way Home, where it's like this huge movie where everything, all these moving pieces. But it reminded me, or it reminded me that a lot of films out there, and I think this is a perfect example of how art can truly imitate life, and how they handled Chadwick's or T'Challa's passing in the film as well. But we'll get into spoilers later on. But I thought it was a perfect balance between the cycle of grief and honoring Chadwick's memory altogether, because this is literally the grief cycle of a nation. But overall, it had its highs, its lows, a lot of great emotional moments, and a lot of funny moments too that didn't feel forced. They kind of just went with the flow of the film. But with Tanag Kirata, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize if I'm not. And the rest of the cast, especially with the introduction to Riri Williams, like it was just a great movie overall. And I had a better time watching it my second time around. And it's just, I don't know, you get swelled up with so many emotions. Obviously, it's this entire movie is it's almost like a tribute to everything that Chadwick has brought to the character. You can see it in everyone's performance, that everyone is giving their all because they're all doing it for Chadwick. And I'm glad they took the time with the movie, because for a while there I didn't think we were going to see this for a while, because there was a lot of like rewrites and whatnot. But overall, it's a great film, a perfect way to end phase 4. And I think Marvel has actually had they've been able to have their cake and eat it too with this movie. But that's all I'll say for now, because I'll just keep rambling.
But no, you bring up some very good points, that this is a very good dedication to Chadwick Boseman. I mean, this is a hard film. I mean, this was hard. This is a lot on Ryan Coogler's shoulders to do this film. And geez, to have a real life passing, and not only just anyone, your main star, and to still continue forward and make this movie. And like you said, as fast as it did, because I mean, it seems like it would take, another year or two, but just the fact that they were able to really accomplish this in so little time speaks a lot, not only to Coogler, but the entire cast for being able to do this. And through these performances, you can feel like the real life feelings for Chadwick in this. I mean, you can feel through the screen, you can feel their emotions, and you can feel the loss. So very, very heavy and very beautiful film. And I'm glad they pressed forward and decided to make this. We got G Kobe P in the chat. What up? Let's talk about the second best phase 4 movie. I'm gonna have to agree with you there, my man, because Spider-Man No Way Home is always gonna be my favorite. But
Amen.
we can talk rankings a little bit later. Mike, let us know your initial thoughts after seeing Wakanda Forever.
I'm something of a Spider-Man fan myself, so I agree with you there. But let's talk about Wakanda Forever. Man, like Christian said it all, essentially. Like, this is such a challenging movie, such a powerful movie. Props to Ryan Coogler and everybody who worked on this script, worked on this story, because it's unfortunate, but they created something beautiful. And I think that's the entire theme of the film, right? Like, being able to honor those we have lost, but still being able to move forward while honoring their memory. And I think Wakanda Forever is that perfect testament to that. I think it's not a perfect film, and it's probably not ideally the movie Coogler really wanted to make,
Right.
Obviously. But, he worked with what he had to deal with, introducing Namor, fantastic villain, a fantastic villain coming off of Killmonger. So like, honestly, we are already going to probably have the greatest trilogy of films in the MCU by the time we're done, just off of the villains alone. Because Namor and all of the characters are fantastic in this film. Shuri, her journey, her struggles, that was such a fascinating way to tackle grief and loss. And that's really kind of the theme of Phase 4 is understanding those losses and seeing how these characters move on. Peter had to move on with the death of Aunt May and Tony Stark. Wanda had to move on with the loss of her kids and Vision. Shuri, the loss of T'Challa. And so I think, like Christian said, it's a fascinating close to the Phase 4 chapter, which is the first phase that I don't think really closed out with an Avengers movie per se.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it's the first phase.
Yeah, first one.
Making Black Panther the event film of Phase 4, I thought was of a perfect dedication to Chadwick, and that intro, it had me balling as soon as the Marvel fanfare started. I'm like, oh god, I don't know, I'm gonna last this movie.
No,
Amen,
that was
bro.
tough. That was tough. Yeah. The intro that they did, with making like the Black Panther, like the purple that they use and whatnot. It was just, a little bit wisp of the wind, a little bit there, but it was just pure silence. And I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, there's a couple of times in the movie where it just the sound deadens and it becomes pure silence. And honestly, it just speaks to not only the technical genius of this movie, but also just to how much they wanted to dedicate to Chadwick. They actually gave him moments of silence here. And it's beautifully done. And I love like that we get all these great clips to really book in the movie. You get the beginning and the end, and they're just all so well mixed and really good, great clips of Chadwick as T'Challa.
Yeah.
Very, very big loss. We got a couple more people dropping in the chat. Luke Ponto saw last night. Phenomenal. Welcome in. Hero Sensei Kid just finished a couple hours ago. Wow, you're fresh out. Okay.
Yes,
well,
Sensei.
What?
Fan of that Cobra Kai here, man. We know the dojo's up in this place.
It grows on you, whatever.
Yeah.
And yes, Coogler did have an impossible task, and it was very hard to pull off. I mean, very, very hard. And I'm sure, and Coogler even expressed that he almost didn't make the movie. I mean, I could completely understand losing a best friend, even. I mean, not even just somebody you work with, but a best friend, somebody who inspired the whole cast. And you watch that first Black Panther and you see how much inspiration he had on these people. And it's just such a big loss. So Coogler, round of applause for him. He did phenomenal. So let's jump into our I didn't get my initial thoughts. Well, initial thoughts, walking out. Loved it. I mean, honestly, me and my cousin went to see it, and I'm gonna be real with you guys. It took me a minute to come up with something bad about the movie. We'll get into that in the negatives, but I was coming out and I was like on cloud nine. I loved it. Namor was a great villain. Great point about the villains, Mike. I'm like, look, if Dr. Doom's in the third one, holy moly, we're gonna have a trifecta of just amazing villains, maybe even the top three of all of MCU, because Killmonger, I put him in the top 5. Namor, I'm maybe even thinking top 5 as well. I mean, just some great villains. And what Coogler does so well with these villains is he makes them misunderstood people, where it's like, okay, they're pretty extreme, so it does make them villainous, but their resolve and what they really want is understandable and maybe not too bad. It's just extreme. They go to these extremes that they shouldn't be. But I mean, at the end of the first Black Panther, Killmonger got what he wanted. It was like, okay, spreading the resources around the world. Boom, he got what he wanted. Like, it was like, okay, there we go.
Heart-shaped bird, gone.
Man, I mean, man had to come up in there and just throw people around. And I'm like, man, come on, Killmonger. But we'll get to that a little bit later, too.
If I may, I want to address...
There's one thing I want to address, too, but yeah, go ahead.
One of the comments says that Ant-Man closed out Phase 2 and Far From Home closed out Phase 3. Yes, but my main point was we didn't have an Avengers film in this phase at all. Those kind of serves as like epilogues to those phases. But yeah, you're right. We didn't actually close with an Avengers movie.
Did Ant-Man close out phase 2? Oh, I guess so. I don't know. It's been so long, man.
I was with Mike. I thought it was the second Avengers movie. I was like, oh yeah.
I thought it
Age
was.
of Ultron.
There's so much. Like, I mean, Marvel is moving at a very fast pace right now, and it's like the farther we get out, it's just. But
yeah.
There's one more thing I wanted to mention just before we get. Actually, no, I'll save it for positive. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, let's get to the positives. And Mike, I'm gonna go to you first, man. What are some positives, big positives of the movie that you really enjoyed?
Queen Ramonda is the best character in this movie. Like, Angela Bassett deserves an Oscar nomination with the way she carried, the way the entire cast carried, honestly. Because one of my biggest concerns going into this one is that as much as I love the first Black Panther movie, all of the roles are very defined, where the entire film is around T'Challa. And so I was wondering, how are we going to make the supporting cast become the main characters of this story? Especially since Shuri was usually kind of just depicted as kind of like the comic relief, like younger sister, not necessarily she is going to be the main character of this franchise type of energy. So I think it was really smart going to the veteran Angela Bassett and saying, you're going to carry the first half of this entire story on your back.
Because I need you.
She's basically, it's like the Lakers, right? She is LeBron. It's like, look, I know we didn't ask you to carry this franchise by yourself, but we need a 50 piece today. Come get the 50 piece.
Yeah, because they don't got no shooters right now.
Exactly. But it's like, yeah, that's the positive to me. And again, like we were talking about Namor, I'm glad you mentioned Killmonger got what he wanted, because, and you guys just stick with me. These villains in Black Panther keep getting what they want because we're in the Naruto universe. We're doing our talk no jutsu. We're using empathy and understanding what these villains want. And we're like, but hey, if we were friends, then we can do the thing. And that's what's happened the last two movies.
Julie, do the thing.
Julie, do the thing.
No, exactly.
So good.
Like Namor is essentially pain. That's what happened here.
Yeah.
And I just think that is really fascinating. And Shuri's arc is incredible, just like Wanda's. The way that they kind of tackle the themes of persevering and grief. Loved it. Those are my positives.
So good. I mean, it's crazy that talk no jutsu. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a lot of empathy to be had with these villains, though. I mean, Ultron, like, come on, you're going to steal a body and destroy the world. Really? Like, you know what I mean? It's like these kind of mustache twirly villains. They're not really that relatable, but people like Namor and Killmonger, they have motives and reasons that you can really empathize with. You're like, oh, okay, like your whole nation was like colonized, like holy smokes, like you can really relate. And it has a lot to say about colonization, and especially in the black and brown communities, and how there's a lot of fighting in those communities, but neither of them were colonized by one another. Right. But let's check out a couple of comments, and then I'll come to you, Christian. I think we got Lo trying to get in as well. But we got Raya, the Glimmering Harpy. Good to see you. I've seen you on Twitter. Love the movie. It felt much more personal and special to me than any other MCU project up to the point. Yes. Totally understand. It's very personal. It's very touching, especially with Chadwick and the passing. But not only just that, just like I was saying about the themes of colonization. And I mean, Ryan Coogler went there and was like, look, sorry, white folk, but y'all be stealing our resources.
My favorite colonizer.
It isn't my favorite colonizer. It's so good. A colonizer in chains. I was like, ooh.
I was so happy to see Ross again, though. He's just a perfect character for this. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to be honest with you, Ross going to my negatives. But let's get Loretto in here. What's going on, man? You in? You in?
Any second now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5. So while we wait for Lo to pop
wait for him to pop in, get connected. But
I was just gonna say, like, Shuri's joke was funny, but like,
Which
you mean
one?
to tell me the white wolf is not her favorite colonizer?
I know, right?
Oh yeah, that's
Like, what about
right.
Bucky?
It's like,
Fuck
really?
yeah.
Poor guy. We even invited him. We literally invited him to the cookout at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That was funny.
Right,
Yeah,
man's had the
I love
arm.
Ross though. He's great. Great
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. So really good positives on Mike. Christian, let us know your positives, man. What did you love about Wakanda Forever?
I think the main thing what I really liked about this movie, so the main thing I liked was that I had a lot of people like asking me like, oh, like what movies or shows do I need to watch? And like, I need you guys to think about that for a second, because now it's not just, oh, what movies do I need to watch in order to understand what's going on in this new Marvel film? It's what shows, because you know they're doing both now. They're spitting these things out like it's, you know, hotcakes. It's crazy. But I enjoy how this is a standalone. It is a worthy successor or a worthy sequel to the first Black Panther. You don't need to watch Civil War, Endgame, or Infinity War. Like, because I had so many people ask me, they're like, what do I need to watch? I'm like, just watch Black Panther. That's all you need to watch. Because with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, as much as I enjoyed that ride, it didn't feel like a worthy sequel or like a direct sequel to the first Doctor Strange, because, you know, Doctor Strange, we had his own movie, and then, you know, he made these other like guest appearances that followed his story, but it's like, you know, he doesn't. But anyway, I really enjoy how Wakanda Forever feels like a direct sequel, and there are a lot of callbacks to the first movie, which is something I really enjoyed. And also just we had talked about this on our review, but there's something about like the bridge fight scenes in Marvel are like always killer, because like when Okoye goes up against one of the I guess you can call them Teleconians. I really don't know how you would pronounce that, but like you felt how powerful Namor was. It wasn't just this guy says he's powerful and he's a threat, so we have to go take care of him. Like, this man is, what did M'Baku say? He said his name was Kukulkan. He's like the feather serpents of the sea. But you feel the force of Talokan. You feel how powerful Namor is, because he is a legit mutant. He's had these powers since birth. It is second nature to him, and he's dangerous. Like, he is understanding, like he can be understanding, but he's trying to protect his people. And you feel how strong his empire is with the bridge scene and just the multiple fights throughout, especially when when Namor broke M'Baku's armor, because M'Baku was like, oh, it's the Fishman, and then Namor just goes to town on him. But like, you see how
rushed his ass.
You see how big of a threat he is. I mean, he's able to move around the water. Like, he was able to infiltrate Wakanda without any like, you know, without any detection. And it's like, that's scary. But yeah, I'm gonna keep rambling. But those are just a few positives that I had.
Oh, Chillmonger saying you can't call him Namor. That's what the enemies use. Are you an enemy? Well, hold on now, Chillmonger. Now we pronounce Namor a little bit easier.
You can say Namor.
Yeah, thanks for popping in, Andrew. We know you haven't seen it yet, so you might want to pop out soon, because we're gonna get into spoilers real quick.
See you in the replay.
Yep, see you in the replay, man. But first and foremost, let's get our boy Loretto in. What's going on, man?
Good morning, Usnavi. Hey guys, I'm actually at a turkey bowl with a bunch of friends. My game hasn't started yet, so I got a little bit of free time. But Leo, you're the man. It's always a pleasure working with you, and I'm just glad to be here and talk shop with you guys. So thank you guys for having me.
It's a pleasure working with you too, man. I can't wait to unveil our project together. So I can't wait to chat with you some more tomorrow. But I'm actually going to toss the baton right to you, man. Let us know. What did you think walking out of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever? And then let us know what are some positives that you really got from the movie.
So obviously, I mean, from the get-go, I knew this was going to be an emotional roller coaster. Forgive me if I'm talking about stuff you guys already talked about, but shouts out that Marvel logo, like all purple, all of the clips of Chadwick. It was just beautifully, tastefully done for the homage and the tribute. And I like that we did it, but then we didn't linger on it, right? So that was the intro, and then boom, we are right in the story and we're right in the kick of things. And I think thematically, what really worked for this film was having that really both Shuri and Namor having like things you could sympathize with, right? Like again, this is where the Marvel villains are best, where I actually felt a lot for Namor, and I don't know about world domination and all that, but his people were oppressed, and his people, like for him to come out of the surface and see his mother's tribe like enslaved, I mean that was such a powerful image, and I think it really made us really question like who's right, who's wrong, and at the same time, it's just like that's just any world conflict, any war that you've seen, it's like there's really is no right or wrong sometimes, and sometimes war isn't the answer. But I like that they worked through that with compassion in the same manner that Chadwick did with what's his name with the Zemo. So I thought
Mm.
like to have thematically tie in the same exact quote damn near right when Shuri looked at Namor and was like, "Vengeance has consumed us," and oh my god, like that literally, I actually got choked up a little bit because that just hit home with Chadwick's character as T'Challa. So overall, I had minor gripes, but I don't want to get into that right now. But it was a really powerful film. Angela Bassett acted her ass off. It was so good to see her really command the screen in a manner that she didn't get an opportunity to in the previous film. So letting her shine, and it was a welcome addition having a Dominic Thorne as Riri. She was so fun, and she's
So
such a
good.
like a great. She's such a cool character for little girls to look up to going forward in this next phase because Ironheart is so freaking awesome. It's nice to have like another genius on board that isn't like a male, that isn't, this is different and this is fun, and I love her personality. So overall, it was a really good experience. Ryan Coogler knocked it out the park in the sense of like all the challenges he faced with COVID, with losing Chadwick. I think he did a phenomenal job from top to bottom. So
Yeah, 100%, man. That's something that I think kind of gets a little buried is Riri. Man, she
Yeah.
was so good. Like after seeing Riri in this, I'm like, look, I'm really looking forward to Ironheart. And what's nice is like, okay, we've got Riri, we've got Kamala, like we've got some really good characters coming out of Phase 4. And I'm hearing a lot of complaints about Phase 4. And I'm like, look, I'm having a blast, y'all. I'm
Same.
liking these characters. I really dug
hey
Black
Leo,
Panther. Riri was good. What's up?
hella fast. You know what I appreciate is her chemistry with Shuri was effortless.
So good.
Mm.
Like they hit the
So
ground
good.
running with just they looked like they were friends for like months. It was just like
Mhm.
awesome, and that's a credit to both Letitia Wright and Dominic Thorne. They're so good together, just like hanging out. And she's like in the cave. She's like, "What's gonna happen next?" And it just they played off each other so good. Like
She
It was
said, "Oh, so you
natural.
guys
It
stopped
was
having Black
natural.
Panther."
And I will say that about the chemistry. And that's how you could tell this cast is a family. All the chemistry between all the characters in this movie, like, really was just on point. Even the Namor and Angela, Namor and Shuri, really good. G. Colby is predicting that Angela won't get a supporting actress nomination because the same happened with Willem
Same
Dafoe.
though. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big Oscars expert, but I think she may
Yeah.
have a pretty good chance this time. I think if any non-technical nominations come through for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, it will be her nomination for supporting actress.
Mm.
Also, I don't want to be that guy, but she had a better performance than Willem Dafoe. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like they're
Totally.
not
I mean,
comparable.
I loved Willem in Spider-Man, but it was
I was like, that's a long shot
it was
trying to get
more-
him nominated.
yeah, because I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home was, I mean, it was focused on Peter's journey. It's just so happened that Willem Dafoe was there. But like when you have a cast that's predominantly female, and this is about, Wakanda is their protector. So, she has to step up to make sure that her people are safe. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different because I mean, Jamie Foxx is there too. He was great, but it's like Wakanda Forever with Angela Bassett, it was more focused on her and Shuri. So it's like, yeah, it's a little different there.
Yeah, 100%. It's a little bit different. Yeah, Defoe good, but like I wouldn't even.
I
mean,
loved
he's a
him.
villain.
Don't
I'm
get me
like,
wrong, but it's
I wouldn't really
yeah.
call him a supporting. I mean, it's like Angela is equivalent to more Aunt May, so it's like okay,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
if we're talking supporting, but Lo, you were talking about negatives. That's actually where we were headed next. So let's talk about a couple of gripes we may have had before we dive into big spoilers. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta go in a second. I think my game's about to be up, but
Okay, for sure.
really
You'll go
quickly.
first then.
Yeah, really quickly, just minor gripes. Because honestly, I really did enjoy the picture. I saw it again last night, so I'm already on round 2 in the past 2 days. Yeah, I'm on a high right now. I'm on a high right now. So yeah, I think my only thing is look, Letitia Wright, especially like grieving at the funeral, like her clutching the casket, and like her scenes with Queen Ramonda, of course, like on the waterfront, like. She had layers to her performance that was really, really nuanced and really, really well acted, for lack of better words. But I just felt like when she actually got the leadership role, and maybe that's just like her still kind of growing out of her character, but it just didn't feel quite as emphatic as I wanted to. Especially like, okay, her landing was cool when she landed in front of M'Baku, and then that kind of got me hyped up, and they all put their hands on her and stuff like that. But then like when she was out in the ocean for that final set piece, the battle, I just didn't feel that leadership quality that I think maybe it just doesn't fit Shuri's character. And I know that Leo, you're mentioning it's a temporary fill-in for her, and she's not going to be the Black Panther forever. And I get that, but I just feel like that part was a little bit lacking for me. Just in terms of like how she felt as leading her nation and stuff like that. I just felt like it didn't fit her. Like if anything, M'Baku embodied that without even being like the guy putting his hands up and calling, Umbambe and all the chants for everybody. Like, even though she was doing it, it just didn't feel quite the same. Or like the way that Chadwick did it, like it's like it was just perfect, and you felt it in your bones. You know what I mean? Like when Chadwick was like Umbambe, like I felt that in my soul, and I'm like, yo, let's go. Like I was ready to go to war with Chadwick, right?
I was
So
going to run at Thanos too.
Right?
right, right. Like Thanos, who? Like if Chadwick's with me, fuck it, let's go, right? So, oh, pardon my language. I try not to curse on stream. I'm just so excited. But no, for real though, like nothing against Letitia Wright. I just feel like that part of it she was just missing. Like that, I wasn't ready to go to war with her, just for lack of better words. That was all it was. But I thought she was really, really good emotionally. It's just that part was lacking for me.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I think with Letitia and with Shuri in general, I think for me it just hit in a way where I was like, I didn't expect her to permanently be in that role. And when she went to Haiti, it made a lot of sense for me. I was like, okay, I don't think Shuri's going to be like when M'Baku was like, she's not joining us today, I'm challenging for the throne. I was like, okay, this makes sense to me thematically for Shuri's character, who was always the scientist, the technologist, not really the leader. So I was like, Angela, spoiler warning, y'all, this is a spoiler stream, but Queen Ramonda dying was the last bit to really push her into that role, because she was still grieving over losing T'Challa, of course, and she didn't really believe in the ancestral plane, being a scientist, but it was that last final little push to really get her to step in. But then once Prince T'Challa comes in, it's like, okay, that's the king, that's the next that's the Simba that's going to head back to Pride Rock and take that throne back. Like that's where we are. So yeah, I totally feel you. It didn't feel like she was really the leader in like a permanent sense, just kind of a bit of a step in a little. Yeah. But I'm gonna go to Christian next. Let us know.
Hey, really quick though, I am gonna step out, guys.
Okay, man.
Love working with all y'all. Good to see you, Mike. It's been a while. Christian, good to see you. Everybody in the stream, thank you guys for watching. Enjoy. Anyone that hasn't seen it, go see it. What are you doing?
Where can I follow you?
At Marcellus Durden on Twitter. And again, stay tuned. We got a lot of fun things to announce. Am I right? I can't wait. Love you guys. Take care, right?
Yeah. Take care, bro. See you soon. Man.
Peace.
All right, Christian, let's go to you for your negatives, man. Let us know what are a couple of gripes you had, some things maybe you didn't quite like.
So the first thing I kind of noticed because I was confused when it came to Namor and Riri, I was like, okay, I understand why Namor wanted to destroy the device that detected vibranium, but I was trying to figure out why he was so hell-bent on killing Riri, but they never shared a scene together. That was like my one thing. I was like, okay, it's a small thing, but I was like, that didn't make too much sense. Maybe I'm missing something, but I was like, oh, he was just so hell-bent on like killing Riri, and obviously, you know, Shuri didn't want him to do that, but it's like they kind of came to like, he seemed like an understanding guy. I mean, granted, you know, he's a powerhouse, but it's like, you know, he was vulnerable enough to show Shuri, not Siri, Shuri, excuse me, you know, Talo Khan. And I mean, I don't know who's going to have better water effects this year. Is it going to be Wakanda Forever? Is it going to be Way of the Water? We'll just have to stay tuned and see. It kind of sucks for Nike and Aquaman because I want to do a little comparison between some water physics. But but yeah, that was my first gripe. The second one was I feel like Nakia, when she went to rescue Riri and Shuri, she made it look a little bit too easy. Like, cause she kind of just like slid in and slid out. I was like, oh, like without like much, you know, resistance or pushback. And then the third thing is the final fight between Shuri and Namor. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I felt like it was over just a little bit too quickly. But at the same time, this is a 2 hour and 40-minute movie. They could have pushed for 3 hours, but it's like, that might have been just like a little bit more excessive, but those are just like smaller gripes I had. But other than that, those are like my three main gripes.
Yeah, good. I mean, those are good points. That's a good point about Riri. Not even one scene between the two. Yeah, I don't think we really see a like Namor step in or anything like that.
I missed it. Yeah, I thought I missed it on my first watch, and they said I was like, yeah, they do not share a scene together at all. So it was weird.
And it's kind of like, I wonder if he would have shared the scene with her, would it have like lightened his understanding a little bit? Because I'm like, all right, you were like hell bent on killing the scientist. Do you know it's like a young black girl? Like, you know what I mean?
She's just trying to get her Venmo.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder if when he like stepped in and saw her, would he? Well, I guess the only real interaction they have is when he like stabs the glass and Queen Ramonda's there, and it's like, oh, okay, like he was ready to just
that was
eliminate
crazy,
him.
Man.
Like,
oh my gosh,
what a crazy scene.
Yeah.
Jake Foley was saying felt like maybe she was just a little bit of setup, but like the character roasted the fuck out of Okoye, total black girl insult. Yes, with that ashy headline, like she was. Her balls.
When Okoye came out of the bathroom, I flipped. I was like, that was so funny.
I told you I gave you 5 minutes. I gave you 6. I'm like,
Okoye, you know, I love her, but she got roasted all throughout this entire movie.
She did.
Poor thing.
In more ways than one.
Bald-headed demon.
She became a civilian.
She's a civilian now. Lost her man. Never got it back, by the way. Like, Shuri didn't say, you're over the door again. She just said, I need your help. It's just like, poor.
Like, does this man have like stated or like, what is this? Is this midnight? Is this like a secret ops kind of thing? Like,
right.
Queen Ramonda, man, she stripped that away quick.
It's funny because at first it's like she's being harsh, but then she's talking through it. And it's like, yeah, she did side with Killmonger. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she lost the print. Yeah, okay, you got a point.
Right, I was like,
no. She's making some good points.
I was like, come on, Queen, don't do this. And then she was
still grieving. I mean, everything was stripped away from her. It's like that can cause you to do some rash things, because even in the first film, I mean, Okoye said like, hey, I don't like Killmonger, but my duty is to the throne. And that is the oath that she took. I was like,
and Ramonda technically didn't see her like turn against, so it's like in Ramonda's eyes, it's probably looked like you were just there the whole time, you know. So
and they addressed where her lover was, or kind of sort of
Daniel Kaluuya.
I'm sorry, it's early. I was like the guy with the face, and that guy.
Nope, I can't remember his name though. But Mike, what are some negatives that you had?
We have this comment here, and it's like, Ross and Val. What was the point of them being in this movie?
Hey, we're setting up for the Thunderbolts. We're
setting up for Ironheart. I don't even need a Thunderbolt set up.
So, and this kind of is my issue with Phase 4 in general. We're setting up for the Thunderbolts. I get it. There's no mention of the Thunderbolts in this movie. Like, you could have at least said we're setting up a team to take down Namor, like a special ops, like just have the line, make that part of the story. But it's just like Ross doesn't add much as far as information. Val doesn't add anything at all except to just kind of be an antagonist for Ross.
It's like, oh, it's Elaine.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, this is already a long movie. This is a waste of time for me. That's my biggest issue with the film, is that they just don't add anything for me.
Well,
nothing.
For me, it's like, because we have these outsiders who have like grown fondness for Wakanda. Obviously, Ross being one of the first, and then Riri now. So I guess that was what I liked, is that, you know, you had someone on the outside try to aid Wakanda and I don't know. He's just a goofy character to me. So it's Martin Freeman. Like, yeah.
He's charismatic. I like the character. Yeah. I love Martin Freeman. It's just, I don't think he had a role in this.
No, not really. It was more of just trying to assist Wakanda in any way that he could. Yeah.
Whereas in a positive, Wakabi. Thank you. There we go. Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah. We're still going to call you Daniel Kaluuya because I'm going to forget that in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And I do like how they address. They do address him. It's not like oh, he's not in the movie, so we're just not going to say anything. But yeah, it was nice little touch.
But yeah, just circling back to Ross right quick. I'm cool with him in the film. He just didn't do anything. But then you have the flip side, a positive of Killmonger showing up in Shuri's vision. It's like, we are still undefeated with Michael B. Jordan showing up in Coogler films. The Mad Lad did it. I love it. But it also served a narrative purpose. And it's like, that's how you get a cameo and you bring the actors back. He just needed a reason to be there.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that was my biggest gripe was, the CIA, Ross and Val. I'm like, look, come on. Really? I love Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. I think it's kind of hard to strike lightning twice. And I'm just not feeling it with Val. I'm just not. I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Love me some Seinfeld. But I'm not feeling this Val character that much yet. And maybe the Thunderbolts will come along and I'll feel different. But I'm just like, we've done this already. And maybe that's the reason. But I'm just not really feeling. I'm not like, oh my God, there's Val. Like, you know, if they didn't even have Val and it was Fury, I think I would be like, oh shit, it's Nick fucking Fury. Like, but Val just does nothing for me.
I think part of
we haven't seen too much of her either, so it's kind of hard to.
And she's her biggest role yet was in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a show that is not a big tentpole movie. Was in that. She steps in, and then of course Black Widow. But again, Black Widow should have been in the phase 3 anyway. So it's just where she's been. She hasn't been at the end of every movie like Fury. She hasn't really had a huge presence. So I think they shoehorn her in and they expect people to be like, oh, look, it's Val. And people are like,
maybe it could be a setup. We're not going to know until Thunderbolt. So we just got to sit and wait.
Again, though, I think that's the difference between her and Fury is that when we first meet Nick Fury in Iron Man, he says Avengers Initiative, right? Yeah. So from that point forward, whenever he and Coulson showed up, we knew that we were recruiting Avengers. Val never specifically states, I'm setting up the Thunderbolts. She kind of mentioned it to John Walker, but in Black Widow, she just tells Yelena, Clint killed Natasha. We don't see her recruiting.
And they have this very nice family picture of Clint.
Exactly. And so it's like, as an audience member, we only know because of Comic-Con, what Kevin Feige said. The movies and the shows have not properly set up what the Thunderbolts are going to be. And I think that's why it's kind of like, I don't care. I don't really understand what's happening here.
Hey, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah. And normal people, they're not even going to care anyway. We only know because we're so, invested and we pay, attention to the news and stuff. So it's like, but I don't know. My mom's going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, like whatever.
It's Elaine from Seinfeld. Like,
good friend of the channel, Kinsey. She saw it and was like, what is Julia Louis-Dreyfus doing here? So it's just kind of like, okay, when you have Nick Fury and his iconic quote, there is an idea, becomes such an iconic part of the franchise, you got to do that again. Like, you got to have Val stepping in saying, I'm putting together the Thunderbolts Initiative or something that's going to make us remember, oh, she's putting together a team. And like you said, Mike, she doesn't even say to Yelena, like, hey, I'm putting a team together. She just sends Yelena on a killing mission to go after Clint. And it's like, okay, what are you even doing?
it's weird because I mean, everyone. I'm not saying everyone doesn't know who Dreyfus is. It's just nowadays, like her heyday was, back in like Seinfeld, Veep, all that stuff. But it's like kids today, they don't really know who she is. Like, I don't think they'd be that recognized unless their parents introduced them to like Seinfeld or something like that. But like everybody knows who Samuel Jackson is. Right. So it's like, yeah, but that's fair. I mean, I'm just waiting. I mean, it's cool to see her there. It's just we haven't seen much of her, so.
Yeah, there's not really a lot to go off of.
And I can't say too much about it either. Yeah.
Before
Killmonger's negative was Ramonda, the death of Ramonda. And I will admit, when it first happened, I was kind of like, damn, we really got to lose everybody. But I think it helped push Shuri into really getting into the mantle because she was not trying to be the Black Panther. Like in her eyes, the Black Panther was dead, and
she's got that tradition. Like
all the time.
And she even just the first line of the film,
she as a technologist scientist, she was not in that wavelength of thinking. And even when she absorbed the herb, that came to life through Killmonger. So it just.
And she still didn't say who she's like because I think Nakia asked her twice, like, who did you see? She still hasn't said anything. I was like,
I don't think she ever revealed that it was Killmonger.
No, she never did. Never did. I would have crapped my pants. But you?
Yeah, camera just turning over, and it was like,
did you guys know it was going to be him when it panned?
No. So I knew it wasn't Ramonda. I was like, please don't let it be like a CG Chadwick. Like, let's not do that. No. Like, I was a little nervous about that.
Can't put it past
maybe your father. Maybe your father.
Did you know it was Killmonger, Mike?
I felt it in my gut because I'm like, we get in the astral plane, right? Ancestral plane, and we go so slowly. I'm like, this camera's panning way too slow for it to just be Angela Bassett. That's got to be Michael B. Jordan, right? Because it can't be Chadwick. And we've never seen Shuri interact with T'Chaka. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, the excitement was still there, but I'm just like, oh, you guys kind of probably should just cut to it. The slow burn kind of allowed me to put two and two together.
Or I was thinking maybe it was just
who the hell is that?
I was thinking it was maybe just no one there. Like, no one. Because she doesn't really believe in, the supernatural, the rituals and whatnot. I was like, maybe it was just like an empty throne. But yeah, because she died. Like, Shuri is, it's kind of she was trying everything to not save the Black Panther, like she said. She was trying to save her brother, and she was just looking for any, like, I think the first line of the movie, I forgot exactly what it was. It was like, something, like, if you help me save my brother, I'll never doubt your existence, like, again, or whatever it was. So it's like, that was like the logical scientist part of her coming out. And we kind of see her, scoff just in a little bit in the first Black Panther movie, but it's just, this is more in depth. And of course, with her being the scientist that she is, like, it was shocking that she was not able to save Chadwick, but obviously, things that happen in real life. And they said, and another thing is the way that they handled his illness, because they didn't try to give this grand backstory as to like what happened to T'Challa, between like Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. They were just like, it was just an unknown illness that took him from us, which is true, which was true to us as fans, because we did not know that he was diagnosed with cancer. So, and I thought that was perfect. They did not need to over-explain anything. They're like, hey, he passed away from the illness, and we're just going to leave it at that. You don't need to overly complicate it. And, so yeah.
Yeah, let's expand on that a little bit, like how they handled Chadwick's passing, because I feel like Coogler somehow very much intertwined Chadwick Boseman with T'Challa in this movie. Like,
I think people really did from the first movie. Just
really,
from the get-go.
It really became almost synonymous. And it's crazy how much T'Challa as a character has become more than just a superhero in a movie. He's become like an icon. And we're seeing this great resurgence of Black movies come after Black Panther, and just you said it on the chatter after, Christian, just the echo of Black blockbuster and how Black Panther really was, and including T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman's performance, how it really did usher us into a new era of Black cinema. And I think that here it handles his passing so well by bookending the film, referencing T'Challa throughout, showing us that Shuri couldn't save him, and also showing us how she grieved throughout the movie. And this is why she really wanted to stay away from the Panther mantle, because she didn't want to replace her brother. And she felt like she couldn't save her brother. And so I think this movie expertly handles the death of a real actor so well. And what's nice is we do still get the comedy. We do still get the funny, and it is natural. It is fun. It's a good, great movie, but we still can address Chadwick throughout. It's very well done. I think masterfully done.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like, I mean, he's forever immortalized on screen. So it's like, I think people way back when, you know, he was first introduced in Civil War, where it's like people just like, oh my gosh, like we have a Black Panther, and then it's but it was the fact that Chadwick played him so well, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we're getting a movie. And it's like, that is when I think, the intertwine, just the synonymous between Chadwick being T'Challa happens long ago. And it's, but I think you hit the nail on the head there for sure.
Let me ask you guys, and I'm gonna go to you first, Mike.
Okay.
How do we feel about Shuri as the Black Panther? And we can talk about the Prince T'Challa reveal a little bit later, but how do we feel about her putting on the mantle, dropping in, being in the mantle? What did you think?
It's logical. It's the logical step, especially coming off of everything you guys said with what happened with T'Challa in the story. I thought it was very fascinating how we went about it, because Christian's right. She scoffs at tradition throughout the entire franchise. And I thought that was said kind of as a joke in the first movie, but it kind of comes to a head as a very major part of her character in this one, which is, again, like Coogler, very smart. It's like, oh yeah, that wasn't just M'Baku being petty, throwing shade. But, the spiritual aspect is integral to the character of Black Panther, right? Like, we open the first movie with the story of the Panther god Bast. We have to establish that, and I think that's what makes Shuri as Black Panther so fascinating, is that we love T'Challa, we love Chadwick as T'Challa. One thing about his character, for me at least, is that he's kind of a perfect human being in the sense where after he got over his anger and vengeance with Zemo, T'Challa, much like Steve Rogers in a way, all of his character flaws were really addressed. And it was just him being like the ideal that we want to be. We want to be as noble, as powerful, as compassionate as T'Challa. And Shuri's none of that. And I think that's what makes her such a fascinating character. Shout out to Isaac down here in the chat.
What's up, buddy? Shout out, bro. Appreciate you with the support, Isaac.
But so I think Shuri being almost the complete opposite, and even Killmonger says that, you're more like me than you are your brother, makes her such a fascinating Black Panther. Yeah. And I love that the suit even reflects that. It's got the silver for T'Challa, it's got the gold for Killmonger, but it's got the design on the mask because Shuri is her own person. And so I love how we were able to put her in a place to where she's got these struggles, she's got this inner turmoil, and she's able to accept her grief and the loss of her family by the end of this movie. Mm-hmm. But she still has a long way to go, which I think puts her in a very fascinating spot, and also explains why M'Baku will most likely be the king of Wakanda, because she's got to go on her own journey and really define her role as the Black Panther. Because like Christian said earlier, it was kind of weird how I think it was either Christian or Lo, she didn't really command the presence that T'Challa did. Mm-hmm. But
that was low.
That was low.
She's still growing into that. And I think this is essentially like how Spider-Man appears in Civil War, but we don't get his origin story until later on in the franchise. I think that's kind of what's happening with Shuri, where she's got the costume, she's still not the Black Panther that we want her to be, and that's still
Mhm.
her character
Or
arc.
maybe she wants to be herself, because it's
Right.
like she took it to protect her country from a threat. So now that the threat is handled altogether, she's kind of just stepping away, doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's just puts her in an interesting spot. I wonder how
Mhm.
long this arc will last, because we do set up a future king.
Yeah,
Yes.
which I will admit, I think that's kind of where we're going to start at the next movie, is maybe passing this to him. At least that's how it spoke to me. But Torin, welcome in. Thanks for joining. Really good comment here from G. Kobe P, who felt it was an exact contrast to Love and Thunder, where the film had a serious story. Tones didn't feel too balanced in Love and Thunder, whereas here, having humor, they let the moments breathe. Yeah, and I just think the pacing in this movie is just a lot better. Although it does jump around from location to location, it's just got a little bit of a better writing story than Love and Thunder did, in my opinion. But yeah, I definitely agree with everything you said, Mike. I thought that it was a very incredible thing to witness somebody different, because they even say it. Killmonger says it to Shuri. He's like, your brother was noble. Like, he was too noble. He was too noble. And it was just like, that's true. Like, right after he learned his lesson, he was pretty much straight from there. It was like, believed in tradition, drank the herb, fought and beat M'Baku, wanted to actually bring Killmonger in. I mean, he didn't want to kill Killmonger. He was like, look, man, like, we can make this work.
Don't even just the idea of bringing Bucky into Wakanda itself.
Yeah,
like
Bucky.
Considering he wanted to murder Bucky that entire time, he went from "I want you dead" to "I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you're okay." And it's like, wow. I love T'Challa.
Oh my god! And Infinity War, when they just go to Wakanda and T'Challa just comes out open
He's
arms.
like, do we
man.
bow? Yeah, he's a king.
Yeah, even his relationship with M'Baku, like they were
was
rivals. Like, M'Baku is a comic book Black Panther villain, and they just said no. T'Challa broke him down. Talk no jutsu. We're bros now.
Yeah,
He's his Gara.
And I love that, like, yeah, he really earned M'Baku's respect, through the sense that M'Baku was going to be a counsel for Shuri. Like, he trusted him to even be his sister's right-hand man. So it's just incredible the way that he's like Naruto, dang it. He's empathetic and can pass.
My job
he can pass empathy. Your talk no jutsu works, man. That theory works. But welcome in, Ren Geekness. What's up, man? Only broken people can be great leaders. Yes. Very, very great quote. But yeah, I really did like Shuri as the Black Panther, honestly, because it was different from T'Challa. It was something different. It was something unique to that character. And I think if it would have just been like, oh yeah, from the start, she's just like, leading the people like the perfect leader, I don't think it would have really worked, because that wasn't who her character was in the first movie. Yeah. She was a little sister. She was like, yeah, I'm a little techie little sister, the scientist. Like, she wasn't the leader that T'Challa was brought up to be. So I think that it was such an interesting case here of everybody else is gone, putting on the mantle. I'm letting go of that vengeance just like her brother did. And I love that Queen Ramonda was the one to tell her, show him who we are. And it wasn't. And I love that she says that. And then that's when she decides to say the exact same thing that Chadwick did in Civil War and put an end to that, because it could have come up like, oh shit, is she about to kill Namor? Like, is she about to show them who we are and chop homie's head off? But
okay, Mom.
I love that the way of Wakanda, that pretty much established that the way of Wakanda is we don't kill our enemies. We invite them to the table and try to listen and understand. And I love that about that scene and about Shuri as Black Panther as a whole. But Christian, what are your thoughts on Shuri as Black Panther?
I thought she was great as the Black Panther. I just want to shout out the suit looks so clean. I was like, I
loved it, man.
Whew. And like, she had her own like tech blasters and stuff. Like, it felt like Shuri's suit. I think her stepping up, and like we said, unfortunately there are certain when it comes to people needing to be the person they need to grow to be, unfortunately they do have this suffer losses. But to quote Legend of Korra, when Korra was, she wasn't able to airbend, and she speaks to Aang for the first time, and keep your knees high, twinkle toes. What a chat. So when Aang speaks to Korra, saying, when you hit your lowest point, you're open to the greatest change. I think that really relates to Shuri when it came to her being Black Panther, because she wanted nothing to do with it. She even said that, the longer I think about my brother, I just want to burn the entire world. And it's, and especially her mom passing, that was the last person who truly knew her, but she kind of took aspects from all the people in her life and is starting to move forward. Her being Black Panther, it was something that she needed to do in that point in time. I liked her as Black Panther. I thought she did a great job. Just trying to live up to what her brother had set before, and honestly, just a little bit of Killmonger in there too. She was trying to take care of some business. That is why she took the heart-shaped herb. She did not take it to, to become the leader. She took it to defeat her enemies. That is a fact. She was
when
done.
she punched that mannequin and that it went flying out. That was just hilarious. It's like,
yeah, it's. I mean, there's so much going on in her head. Like right after, she sees Killmonger, and she's like, why didn't my family, like, Killmonger is her family, but why did her immediate family, why did her mother or her father visit her in the ancestral plane? And that really messed her up. I mean, that would mess anybody up, because it's, your mother just passed away, like right in front of you. And she was so broken, and it's like, she was tired. She's like, I need to, right this wrong. I need to take care of business. I need to figure out this formula for this synthetic heart-shaped herb and defeat my enemies. That is why she took it. Riri wanted a little bit of the action herself too, because she saw that punch. She's like, can I get some of that? And I was like, heck, man, just start passing it around at this point, because
we're making an army of super soldiers.
oh God,
called the Thunderbolts.
Hey, Bucky, I'm like 4 or 5 of y'all are super soldiers, and there's one.
Everyone's a super soldier in the MCU. Everyone's a super soldier.
Ghost's the only one with some powers in that whole group. So, but yeah, a good comment here from G. Colby. Hesitant about Shuri becoming BP, which I was walking into, and that it doesn't win everyone over, but her arc was really, really good. And I'm with you. I think walking in, I was like, I kind of wanted it to be Nakia. I kind of wanted it to be maybe even Okoye. But you know what? When I got into the film, I was like, wouldn't it really make sense for those characters to, this is a family, a familial connection. It really wouldn't make sense for Nakia to show up and they're like, hey, it's going to be you. Like, it just, how the film narratively plays out and how it follows Shuri and the grief of loss, it really wouldn't play out and make much sense if it was anybody else. Like, if it was Nakia or Koye, it'd be like very odd.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that you mentioned that, though, because that's the plot of Black Panther 1. Like, we're fighting for the throne. We're fighting for the mantle of the Black Panther. And I think that just shows how the loss of T'Challa shook the entire nation to where Ramonda just becomes queen. Like, why isn't M'Baku challenging for the throne now? It's because he has too much respect for T'Challa, and nobody wanted that mantle anymore, to now where it is being passed down throughout that family instead of challenging for it, which I thought was a very fascinating way to go about it. Because if we were just going off of logically, yeah, I
like
think
Game of
Nakia,
Thrones, just boom, boom, boom. Yeah,
right,
down the line.
But it's like, I think Nakia makes sense as a Black Panther. She's not Dora Milaje. She's an independent fighter. So giving that mantle to her, I think would have made sense. But the movie's like, no, we are respecting T'Challa, and we even have the time jump where it's like we still don't have a Black Panther.
Which whole year
is fascinating. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, because now because for the longest time throughout Wakanda, it was that, the king was the Black Panther. Now I feel like, well, until T'Challa Jr. comes in. Sorry, but I think
TJ.
spoilers.
Holly
Whatever.
D.
Spoilers. Everyone just
Spoilers in the thumbnail of the video, bro.
I'm just some people don't read. That's all I'm saying. Some people do not read. But I like how right now it's the ruling Wakanda does not necessarily have to mean that you are also Black Panther. I feel like you can also. I feel like you can have a ruler and a separate protector, but it depends. I mean, like I kind of mentioned with T'Challa Jr., Marvel had its cake and ate it too, because so many people were like, "Oh, we need to recast T'Challa." Eventually, that is going to happen at some point. We just don't know when. But I mean, unless if they go down that route with T'Challa Jr. coming back and being Black Panther, probably. I don't know.
I think that's kind of your solve for that, because we don't have to recast T'Challa, but we do have a T'Challa in here, and
that's true.
Like, oh my god, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I was crying when Nakia like comes up with holding a little boy's hand. I was like, is that
he was in the film earlier as well? If you did not,
he was. Yeah, and I was like, wait, is that? I was like, who is it? Who is that? And just the way it plays out, like, hi, I'm Boruto.
I'm gonna be the Black Panther. If everyone will respect me, believe it.
He knew who he was. I was like, okay, go ahead.
He did. He's like, I heard you're gonna keep it secrets.
Son of King T'Challa. I was like, okay, go ahead, bro. You want some like Simba shit without the Timon and Pumbaa stuff? Okay.
Thank God. That's something Love and Thunder would have done.
No, okay. Here's my thing about Love and Thunder.
Hey, don't be knocking.
When he be dying? When did he be dying at the end of the movie and be like, you know what? I'm gonna give them a second chance. Like, why wouldn't he like use his last little wish to make Jane live? I was like, okay,
why the heck would he do that? He's trying to save his own kid, man.
He gonna save his kid and give Thor somebody to permanently babysit. Okay, I was like, he looked at them so lovingly. I thought he was gonna say like, I'm gonna give you a second chance at love since I didn't.
No, because she made it to Valhalla. We got to see Valhalla. We got to see Heimdall again. It ain't a perfect movie, but hey, I'll rewatch it over Black Adam any day. That's all I gotta say.
This is an interesting comment here from D Movie Man. What's up? Saying that Doctor Strange would possibly be involved in a post-credit scene is what some spoilers were saying. Yeah, I heard about Doctor Doom.
I heard about
but I didn't hear about Doctor Strange. That would be very, very jarring to see that at the end of this movie, because there's so much not MCU in the movie. So it's like it would be fucking weird if like the post credit was just like Doctor Strange.
It would have been weird. Doctor Strange will return
or something. I'd be like, the fuck? Like it would just be a mad throw off. So I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Yeah.
Supposedly, what I heard is that Doctor Doom was supposed to be included in a post-credit scene. And I think I'm glad they took it out, because
they scrapped it very early. I heard that they were doing like previs because they didn't have an actor cast. It was going to be kind of like a Thanos situation where it was going to be like CGI Doom with the mask, and Marvel said no. And they scrapped it before the VHX teams.
That's probably the best.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah. It's a self-contained story. That's what I liked about it. The post-credit scene fits and pushes, the story of, and whenever they make a third one. I know Coogler and Feige have been talking about Black Panther 3, but all together, I'm glad they didn't add that in. For some reason, I was sticking around because I knew there was at least one. I mean, everybody knew there's at least one, but I did stay into the very end of the critics the first time. But the second time, I look at my friend like, we can just go out there. She's like, oh, there's not. I'm like, no, there's only one.
Nope. This security woman for the screening gonna open up the movie, and they usually say like, you got to put your phones away and stuff. She's like, just so you guys know, there's 3 post credits.
Why you be lying?
Why the you lying? Why you always lying? I'm like, man. She lied, and you know what? This is the second time they did that, because they said that with Multiverse of Man, it was somebody different that was like, I heard there's like 4 post credits. I'm like, I'm gonna have to stop believing y'all. Why y'all? Why
No.
are you guys doing that? Like,
If you
set
got
us
4
up.
No
post
more than
credits, you just
2.
put it in the movie now.
Right. It's like
You
at
might
this
as well
point,
just-
we got what in Avengers, it was them eating the Euros and one other one. Like none
That
of these
was
other
funny.
movies got 4.
Yeah.
Shawarmas or whatever it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
shawarmas.
That's
Yeah.
good. I might have that for lunch.
What's
What's up,
that's
Chili
a real
Boy?
place?
No, Babysitter Thor is not it.
You
I'm with
guys
you.
are so
Should have just
harsh.
brought back Jane. Come on, man. Bring Jane back.
He gets
Now,
to be your
Jacoby,
dad.
I did like Thor, Love and Thunder a lot, actually. But I
Yeah, I
just,
did too.
I didn't like that ending. I was like, really? We kind of clipped my
What?
wings
They
here.
were kicking butt at the end of that movie.
No,
I
I
was
mean when
like,
he didn't give Jane another chance to live, I was like, oh, okay. Well,
ah.
I thought he was gonna like finally like empathize, like, oh shit, I see them loving each other. Let me give them another chance.
I think
after all
Natalie
this stuff
Portman was
I
like, you can
caused."
bring me back for like one movie.
Probably.
And then I'm out.
Probably, but they did leave the door open, like Jacoby says.
Yeah.
But okay, let's get to our final little chat here. What do we think this is going to look like for the Oscars? Because I'm seeing a lot of predictions that a lot of technicals, no best, maybe not even no director, and no Angela, which hurts, but it does make a
Don't be
little
listening
sense
to those
to
people,
me.
Leo. You gotta have faith. You gotta. I said, don't listen to those people. Whoever, people online saying, "Oh, no, best picture, no." Like it's a little ridiculous. But I mean, I think it needs something other than just technical. Like this was a movie, like we said before, that almost did not get made, and it was damn near impossible to make, but they pulled it off. It needs some type of recognition. So don't be listening to all the random.
Oh, he
people
said,
out
"Don't be
there.
listening to them." See, I think
No,
at least
it's
at least Angela.
At
Like, I
least
would at
Angela.
least love to see Angela be nominated. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
if anything outside of costume, cinematography, VFX, all that. Anything outside of that, I would love to see Angela at least get nominated. Man, if she took the trophy, that'd be great. But like, I'm reaching. But I just, I don't think it'll be nominated for BP personally either.
I know.
I would love
so-
for it to, but
You guys are you have your finger on the pulse more than I do. What would be the 10 films to get in over this one? Like rough idea. I'm not asking for your Oscar predictions.
okay, I was like,
fully, but,
man, I don't know.
like,
I got
Oscar
some stuff to
show.
get in.
Are there
Yeah.
legitimately 10 films you would say would beat this movie out? Because I feel like it's been kind of a weaker year, so I feel like it should have a
Yeah.
chance.
It is a weaker year because TV has been kicking movies butt this year. I'm just saying that is the facts.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
There's some good shows
is-
this year, man.
There's some great shows this year, but if the Oscars use all 10 slots, I don't know what movies it would be. I have no clue.
Let's see. I know. I think
Suspenseful.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is one. Maybe Babylon. There's like a lot of movies that I gotta catch up on, but there are definitely some. The Fablemans might maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's just some stuff that I still gotta see, and it's kind of like the
Mhm.
award season here. Yeah, see, Larry's Everything Everywhere. I'm seeing some predictions
Oh,
saying
yeah,
Avatar
that
2,
could.
and I'm like,
No,
I guess
no,
Avatar, the
no.
first one was nominated, so
I mean, it might be nominated. I don't know if it's gonna win.
I don't know. I
But
don't
then
think it's gonna
again,
win,
but that's the thing. It'll steal Black Panther's slot.
yeah,
Also,
that is true.
this isn't necessarily a knock on this movie, but it was so dirty putting the Way of the Water trailer in front of this movie because I'm like, ooh, you see, we got these blue water people versus the other blue water people, and that movie kind of looked a little better visually speaking. Not necessarily that the movie's going to be better.
I still can't tell you what the plot is, though. I have no
No,
clue.
not at all.
No idea, no clue.
No, but
let's
this
see.
looks great.
Other contenders, I think Tar, maybe
Mm,
Women Talking. I still haven't seen that, but like
Maybe
those are
The
those are
Whale,
more.
maybe the
Those
one.
are more. Oh, The Woman King.
Woman
Those
King,
are
yeah,
more
that'd be
in
a good one.
line of what
You got two
I think would
cops
be
saying
Oscar.
Maverick too.
I
Top Gun
think
Maverick.
Could, I think Maverick could
Yeah.
squeeze in.
Maverick.
Yeah, I think
For
I
Best
think Maverick
Picture,
could be one.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
That's like
Fableman's
if-
Maverick, EAO, Avatar 2.
If there is a
Women
sorry,
Talking.
go
Get
ahead.
out of here, Tyler.
What did
Morbius,
Tyler say? Morbius. It's Morbius time.
the Banshees of Freeman. Like I think those line up with a little bit more of the criteria they look for. I
Yeah.
would love for Wakanda Forever to
Northman,
make it
maybe?
in, but I just Nah, I don't think the Northman's
No
squeezing in,
Northman?
man. I think it's just a
Sonic the
little
Hedgehog
too...
2? No, nothing. I'm just kidding.
Can they get visual effects? Because the first
I think
freaking
they
movie,
could.
the
I
VFX
think they
studio got turned out. They got laid off. Everybody got laid off. They folded,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
company doesn't even exist anymore. So I would love for them to
Yeah.
get a nomination for VFX.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Ooh,
yeah,
Rihanna original song. Yeah, that's a
The
good
original
one.
songs this entire year have been bangers, guys. That's gonna be my
Bangers.
favorite category this year.
Bangers. This
and
one after another, man.
I know. Oh, this one I kind of wanted to bring in. I mean, they didn't play No Woman No Cry in the actual movie, but I think that was a great, like, I mean, it's all about the female gaze when it comes to Wakanda Forever for this movie. So I thought that was a nice, at least for the marketing. But I kind of wish it was in the movie, but that's just so small for me.
What are you
For
talking
the
about? I'm sorry.
Bob Marley's No Woman No Cry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was in the trailer. I was kind of hoping it was gonna appear in the movie, just a little bit, because that's so, it's very, it fits the theme so well. But Lift Me Up was a great song as well. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
Riri came back with a vengeance.
She said, "Oh, so you guys stop having Black Panthers after I get kidnapped." I was like, "Oh." She was not happy.
No. But the whale, yeah, gonna be an actor.
The whale
showcase.
could.
Yeah,
I
the
think
whale.
the whale.
I think he's right. It'll miss Best Picture. It'll miss everything. But
You think
Brendan
the whale's gonna
Fraser,
miss Best Picture? You think it's gonna
absolutely.
miss?
Oh,
really?
Nominate?
That's
Yeah, I
Brendan-
think it's gonna miss. I think it's gonna be Brendan Fraser. Maybe Sadie.
Maybe.
I don't even know,
crazy.
man.
I don't think they would.
Gaga
Really,
versus
no.
Rihanna for best song. Yep, absolutely.
Wait, what did Gaga make for it? What did she? What was that?
Top Gun 2?
You know,
Oh,
Christian, I know you did not like Top Gun as much as the rest of us, but come on, man. Gaga dropped
Ooh.
a banger.
I forgot about man. I forgot
Come
about
on,
that movie.
man.
I forgot about that movie the second I walked out.
I forget.
I was like,
Turning Red was this year, right?
yes, it was.
Yes.
So we got Gaga, Rihanna, and potentially Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Yes.
Oh my God.
We
Yeah,
do.
which That's Turning Red is. I think
mean,
that's
Top
that
Gun's
might
a good
snag
movie.
trophy
It's
for
just
animation.
it was
Maybe.
alright.
Well, because you got Pinocchio, you got Turning Red,
Yeah.
the bad guys, and then I'm
Oh,
missing
yeah,
one or
yeah.
two. But I'm like,
Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
that is not making it into no nominations.
It better. That movie was phenomenal.
Man. So Jacoby said he sounds some hate for Lift Me Up, but like, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna say about this, Jacoby. I love you, Black Twitter, but y'all wanted a banger from Rihanna, and that's not what this was gonna be. Like
Yeah.
they thought we was gonna be on some Pond to replay.
This is not Good
type
Girls
of-
Gone Bad,
Like,
Rihanna.
nah,
Yes. All the Four Town love in the chat. Thank you.
Four Town best original
Four
song.
Town. Yes. Honestly,
Baby Emma
I
Stone.
wouldn't be mad. I would not be mad if Four Town won for best originals.
Oh, Chippendale won the Emmy.
Get the guys to come out and perform the song live.
good.
That'd be amazing. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Chippendale.
Yeah,
Chippendale
this-
was fun.
I mean, yeah.
It was
Oh,
fun.
oh,
I
so
like
much.
Chippendale.
Maybe
With the
Cha-Cha Real
ugly
Smooth
Sonic
if-
and shit.
Yeah, I know. Cha-Cha Real Smooth, maybe, possibly. I don't know. I mean, it seems that Apple's trying
Possibly
to push
it's
that again.
just kind of far out now. I think.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately that came out.
Yeah, it was so early. Maybe
Yeah.
Causeway. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that's A24 as well. So I
I
don't
think.
know what they're gonna do.
What else? Elvis maybe. DP.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Nomination,
I
I think
still
Elvis-
haven't watched that movie.
I definitely think he's getting nominated for actor.
Let's see some
Yeah,
horror
Boston.
movies in this Best Picture. I'm
You're
Not
asking
happy,
too.
man.
You already trying to get Black Panther in there. You are not getting another horror movie with Best Picture, man. I'm sorry. The Academy is not gonna be feeling it.
That's why I'm
We
so
also
worried
got
about Wakanda
Glass right
Forever.
around the corner. That I don't
What?
think Glass is gonna make it, but we got that right around the corner too. And
Hmm.
I just
I
don't
mean,
think
that's why I'm-
unfortunately.
That's why I'm so worried about Wakanda Forever, like getting a nomination, because it's like, I mean, there are some exceptions. You know, the first Black Panther got a Best Picture nomination. Not saying that it needs, this movie Wakanda Forever needs to go all the way, but I'm just saying give credit where credit is due. So, I mean, I don't know what it could be against, but Angela Bassett definitely deserves a nomination out of just anyone.
So
It
here's
was-
what Variety has. I just looked it up. They got The Fablemans, Banshees, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Women Talking, EAAO, Elvis, Emancipation. I didn't guess that one. Living didn't guess that one. And The Woman King.
I would be happy if The Woman. I still have to watch it though because it's just been busy.
I still gotta watch it too, man.
I want to. Well, I mean, Pearl came out the same. I was like, man, like you're really gonna make. I had to watch Pearl. I had to watch Pearl.
Look at this lineup: Wakanda Forever versus the Batman versus Empire of Light, which Empire of Light has a great score
for original score. Ooh, yeah. The Batman does have a really good score too.
Woo, it's gonna be a tough year there. The music categories are gonna be loaded with extras.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be insane. I mean,
I know we want Black Panther. I mean, the Batman to be nominated for Best Picture, but I don't know. I think something's gonna be in the way. it may not make it.
Tyler, I mean, yeah.
Not everybody.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't pretend to know how.
Whoosh, right over Christian's head. Whoosh. Something in the way.
Mike even started singing it like I think he's still lost, Mike. But even when Black Panther got nominated, people got mad. Yeah, and it was like that was the year where they tried to actually do the popular picture category, and people were like so mad. Well, was that the one right before, or was that
was last year?
So it was a legit Best Picture nomination, not a popular vote type of deal.
People were mad about that popular stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm glad they did like the recognition or whatever, like the little standing ovation. But Zack Snyder's Justice League over Spider-Man No Way Home, bots. With
no hesitation, he's just like, that was not real.
It wasn't. They released a whole expose on Snyder Cut and all that, and how there was a lot of bots involved. But that's not this stream, guys. Do we have any final thoughts about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever before we wrap up?
I've got so many thoughts.
Let's keep chatting.
I didn't really get to talk about how great of a character Riri is in this film. She's such a great supporting character, and I love how she kind of fills the void that was left by Shuri. Because Shuri, while still in this film, is not the Shuri we know from Black Panther and Infinity War. So I thought that was a great addition to the film. I thought even just establishing that she, for some reason, is able to make Stark tech. I guess we'll get more on that from her own show. I thought that was really cool. I can't wait to see where we go with her. This is one of the more natural, and again, Ryan Coogler just doing his own thing. Wakanda Forever is essentially his own franchise now, the whole Black Panther franchise.
Truly.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like its own continuity.
Yeah, and I love that about this movie is that I think a lot of the problems with Phase 4 for people like me is that it's too bogged down by continuity. Whereas this, you like Christian was saying at the top of the show, you don't have to do homework to watch this movie.
Yeah.
If you watch Black Panther 1, you can just come right into this one and get it. You don't have to watch 5 movies. You don't have to watch a series. You don't have to get all this extra stuff to enjoy this film for what it is.
Except the Val stuff, and who cares? At that point, you're just pretty much oh, that's Ross's ex-wife. Okay.
But like again, they did nothing with her anyway. So it's like we didn't need to know who she was.
That is very true. Yeah.
And that's a positive and a negative for me with Val's character, but we went over that. But I just love how this is able to stand on its own without breaking continuity of the MCU.
It's a good standalone, man. Like, I mean, that was what was so good about the first one was like, my parents don't keep up with the MCU like heavily. Like they've seen some of the Captain America stuff, some Avenger things, but like they're not like every single movie. Like when they loved that first Black Panther. I think they're gonna love this one too, but they love that first Black Panther. And I remember them coming out of the theater and being like, calling me and being like, we gotta watch this together. We watched it together, and they love it, man. And like that kind of energy is not really felt in many of the other MCU movies. Yeah. Even Captain America's trilogy is so tied to Iron Man and all these other, like, no, Black Panther is that one. I'm sure we're gonna have a trilogy here. Is that one series in the MCU where you can just kind of breathe and you can just kind of like follow the movies. Maybe if you want to do Civil War just to get the introduction of T'Challa, that's some good other homework. But like you were saying, man, nothing else is really required to enjoy these movies. And Coogler really puts his own personal stamp on that. But
Yep.
let me address this comment. Tyler saying, "I'm glad her ladybug suit has to stay in Wakanda." Dude, I like
Amen.
the suit.
I
like the suit, man. I dug that
liked
suit.
it.
You
That's
didn't like it,
pretty
Mike?
I hated it, but also I
Woo!
know what Riri's costume normally looks like, and I'm like, that's not it. This
It's
is definitely
not.
Mark 1.
It's not. But I thought it was cute and fun and cool. And
I mean, for her
So-
first introduction, yeah, I thought.
yeah, for the first suit, I thought I was like, okay, cool. This is tight.
It
Little
doesn't
Power
need to be.
Rangers,
She doesn't need to be like a
Beetleborgs.
right. She doesn't need to be like established Ironheart and Wakanda Forever. Like this is a suits is a version of one of her suits.
And it had a little heart on it. I was like, let's
Yeah.
go, baby.
It's one of those things where the movie's just too loaded and too long, where we couldn't address like what. That's the thing that's kind of annoying, is that I love Riri in this movie. I know nothing about her. I'm sure I will once we get to her show. I understand that, but it's like, why can't she make an Iron Man suit? And what, like, this is a Black Panther movie. She was standing Shuri as soon as they met. So it kind of felt like her character should have been Black Panther inspired, not Iron Man inspired. And we just never touch on that at all. Like, you could have said she got into MIT because of that Stark program that we see in internships, right?
The internship, yeah.
And so it's just kind of things like that where it's like, I kind of wish we got a little bit more with Riri, but I get it. She's got her own show. That's probably coming later.
That is one problem I did have with the movie that I didn't address. Unfortunately, the movie just has a lot to accomplish. Like, there's just a lot of jumping scene to scene, location to location. So I think the Ross stuff, if they would have cut that out, I probably could have saved about 15 minutes. I mean, I'm like, y'all could have saved about 15, 20 minutes.
The man got divorced.
Cutting all that out, man.
He's
all
just trying to help out his favorite country, not his own.
Our favorite country too, not gonna lie.
Hey, Wakanda, y'all got any houses for rent? Cause shoot, I'm trying to live over in Wakanda. Okay, shoot, we good over here.
I do like how they continue. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you were saying something.
Oh, I was when it comes to like vibranium and just, you know, how Wakanda uses it just always blows me away. Because even in the first movie, when Ross is like, oh, like, you guys have our vibranium, and Shuri's like, yeah, there's vibranium all around us, and like they just continue to show just what vibranium, you know, looks like other forms when it comes to the civilization, especially in the second movie. Like, yeah, there's, you know, the Kamoyo beads and stuff, but just the heart shape, you know, the heart shaped herb, the and also the DNA of Shuri trying to run the tests that saved T'Challa and to create, you know, synthetic heart shaped herb. It just always looks like amazing. It's like incomprehensible to like the rest of the world.
Right. Yeah. I love how it looks. And honestly, I want to address something that we haven't talked a lot about on the stream. I love how it really addresses and echoes like real life, and how Black and brown communities are so very similar, and how much our culture does affect the mainstream culture, because we see the US, we see France trying to get the vibranium, and that is a very, very much a representation of how things from our cultures are always sought after. And I love that they bring that in here, and they do bring the, you know, Black versus brown, which does happen a lot in person and in life. They bring that up a lot, but we can both relate so much, and we're both very similar. And a lot of things from our cultures are put into the mainstream. So I love that they play with that beat here, and Coogler is just a genius with that, man, a genius with that layer. And I just think that combined with the themes of grief, vengeance, loss, it's just such a well-written and thematically beautiful movie. I would love to see it get nominated for Best Picture, man, but it's just
I just want a nomination. Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask for?
It is, man, because people were, like G. Colby said, people were pissed about the Black Panther nomination.
Man,
pissed.
whatever.
Well,
they can
going off the list Leo read, if they're saying Woman King has a chance to be nominated, I think
I'd be okay with it.
Than Woman King. So I feel like it might be able to take that slot.
Oh, you think it's better?
Oh, you think
far.
this movie's better?
By far. And I really enjoyed The Woman King, but you know, it kind of felt like a knockoff.
I love that movie. She loves The Woman King. My mom
The
loved
Woman
it.
King, man, that discourse online was so bad.
Yeah.
I stayed away from. I was actually kind of happy I didn't see the movie yet because I did not want to be a part of that stuff.
He was hoping for Tyler was hoping for some Spider-Man kids.
Yeah.
In a little cameo MIT. Yeah,
Flash could have been in the background. I would have been cool with that.
Put Flash in the back talking about his book and shit.
His book, yeah.
Well, the
That
book
would
is
have
no
been
longer
funny.
canon, right? Because he doesn't know Peter Parker.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no
Yeah,
Flashpoint.
that's true. I wonder what
Which
happens.
I was like,
in the
look
book.
at y'all knocking on DC right there. Flashpoint. Oh, okay, I see y'all.
Their Flash's Flashpoint came out before the Flash movie. Just remember that. Remember that.
That Flash movie about to be an absolute mess. You're right, Jacoby. Little bloated.
Yeah.
Zendaya
Same
talking
here,
to
yeah.
Riri. Yeah, like something cool like that. That would have been nice. Oh my god, I would have reacted more to that than I did Val.
Yeah.
Like, I would've been more like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Are we
Yeah,
talking
I
about
would've too.
Zendaya or the character of Michelle Jones Watson?
Oh yeah.
Either one, bro.
Because Zendaya as herself, I would have been totally fine with.
Either one.
No
I'm
question.
okay with
Unless-
either one.
Well,
Doctor
could-
Strange
could
ruined
Zen-
Flash's book career.
Yes, it ended the man's whole career. What
he was on a roll.
poor guy.
So what do
That's
we
nothing.
think with the third movie? And I know this is jumping ahead a little, but with the third movie, where do you think they would take it next? Do you think we're gonna get young T'Challa going for the throne? You think we'll get a little bit more of Shuri's journey? It's kind of hard to say now, huh?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions. I kind of just want to take it as is and see what they do with it. But that's just me.
Ryan Coogler has my complete and total trust, even more than Kevin Feige himself.
Oh.
So whatever he wants to do with this franchise, I'm open to it. That said, I feel like we're gonna rock with Shuri for a few more movies because the kid's like 6 or 7. When we meet
He's
him.
a baby.
Right. So, but that gives them like in 10 years, even if that actor doesn't come back, we can just have somebody be 19-year-old King T'Challa or Prince T'Challa or whatever you want to do there. Right. I think that's what they're going for. They're planting the seeds for the future. So T'Challa in some form or fashion can come back.
Yeah. I hope Tucson or T'Challa Jr. ages faster than
Tucson
or
TJ.
This is TJ. There.
TJ, the little homie.
I hope that T'Challa Jr. ages faster than Samuel Tarly's kid in Game of Thrones because that baby did not age. It's like so much time is passing by.
Continuity error like hell.
That was funny though. I was like, yeah, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
The thing about him aging is you got to account for the rest of the MCU. So if you say that this kid ages 10 years, are we now going to say that Peter Parker is 30? Like, you know,
and where does that take place?
You're moving the chain so far. It's like Young Avengers. Hell, y'all old as hell.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I'm like, unless you do multiverse, like we see a future him from another Earth come in type of situation, you can do that. Otherwise, let him grow naturally. And that way we can have Miles and all these other next generation be together as opposed to trying to push him up.
That is, Young Adventures.
All right, so where does this rank in y'all's MCU Phase 4 movies? We'll make it easy and not include the shows. Where does this rank in y'all's Phase 4 movies? Loaded question still, I know.
Well, I posted the other day, like through Twitter. I mean, this wasn't like in order, but it would be in my top 3. Probably number 2, with Spider-Man No Way Home being number 1, and probably either. It's either between Shang-Chi and Eternals. I love them both. I think I might go with Shang-Chi because I really enjoyed that movie.
We got Mike's here live.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't add mine on Letterboxd.
Yeah. Oh my God, we have the exact same top 3. I was like, look, No Way Home. WandaVision, I'm sorry.
Those would be
I
my
think
top 3 as well.
They kind of
yeah.
shot themselves in the foot putting WandaVision first because I'm like, they're just not gonna get better in the TV than this.
They did. They really didn't. But
They're just not.
It's
Yeah,
still the bar. It's the bar for
the bar,
for
man.
MCU shows.
The
Yeah.
bar.
I was struggling with Wakanda Forever and Shang-Chi. They're very different movies. Shang-Chi, I think, is a lot more fun.
Yeah,
Wakanda
totally.
Forever is not a movie I'll revisit very often because it's
It's
so
just gonna
heavy
make me cry. Yeah.
and make me it's so emotional.
Look at that bottom one.
Yeah,
Wait, is Werewolf by Night? Oh, come on. Why is Eternals?
He didn't like it. He didn't like it.
I didn't like it. You know what? That's an entire episode for another day. We can talk about why I don't like Eternals. But
Is
you had a question
Werewolf
about
by
Werewolf?
Night? Is that Phase 4 Werewolf by Night or?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We just ended Phase 4, so technically, yeah.
Well, no, it's still got the Christmas special, but that's
Phase 5 for some reason.
Or Phase 5,
which is like, shouldn't that have come before Black Panther Wakanda Forever if it was gonna? But
I'm wondering if the special presentations are actually considered part of the phases themselves or not, or if they're just.
They are, man. We're gonna make it easy.
If they're not, you just take it out the list and move everything up one.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
So Eternals will be number 14 instead of 15.
Yay! Good job.
Yeah, I
love the Eternals, but there's a lot of things I just don't like. But
I got Black Widow at the very bottom of the movies. Like I got that shit at the bottom, and I also got Hawkeye tucked right next to it, bottom. But I got Eternals. I think I got Eternals.
You know, that is such a disservice to Mariah Carey. Can't be hating on Christmas, bro.
Ain't nobody hating on no Christmas. I'm just hating on
rewatching it
how Kingpin was barely in it, and then all that happened. I just was like,
I'm fine with Kingpin like being towards the end. I don't like the reveal with the stupid cell phone thing. I was like, that was so bad. I was like, why was that his reveal? Like,
Chili Boy still riding with Eternals at number 1.
Eternals is very good.
I got it in my top 5. So if I had, it's my number 3 if we're doing movies only. Only topped by Wakanda Forever number 2, and then No Way Home at number 1, baby. Like No Way Home.
No Way Home
was an event. That was an event right there.
It was. Yeah.
Let me pull up. I'll pull up my letterbox real quick. Let me see, because I
don't have mine. We might update. I have like a grand. I have like a grand MCU altogether. I haven't updated in a while though.
You don't got no Phase 4.
Oh, that's so much work. I can't do it.
I do so my phases, and then when the phases are done, I start putting them in the MCU rank. I keep the shows.
Oh, see, that's smarter. See, I did the MCU rank first, and then I was going to split them to phases. But that's tough.
Oh, y'all, that Grogu thing comes out today.
Oh yeah,
we're going to be talking about that tomorrow on the Amateur Otaku. So
definitely plug in for that at the end. Let me pull up my Phase 4. Yeah, see, I got a couple things to add, but
I haven't really given it too much thought. I get very drained when trying to rank everything nowadays.
There's so much to keep up with at this point. Like, I mean,
there's a lot. And I was like, oh man, we're getting so much fantasy. Now we're even getting more fantasy with Dragon Age coming out. I was like, all right, I gotta watch that.
I will put it right after WandaVision. And then Werewolf by Night, I think I will put probably right after Shang-Chi.
I think maybe ranking.
No love for Marvel's What If.
Look, man, that What If's gonna be right at the bottom, smack bottom. Right below Hawkeye, smack bottom.
The T'Challa episodes were great.
They were great. I mean, the T'Challa. Somebody said they loved the Killmonger, and here's my thing about the Killmonger episode. I was like, this is not a what if. This is basically we're copying Killmonger and pasting him in another story. There's nothing changes. He would do the exact same thing if he was Killmonger in the main story. So I was like, that's not really a what if for me. Party Thor, come on, man.
That was like the week. Sweet. That one in Captain Carter. I mean, it was cool seeing Captain Carter, but yeah, between Party Thor and Captain Carter, I was like, the rest of them, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
The Ant-Man one, or the one where Hank Pym was like the one. I was like, okay.
The problem,
I just wasn't really.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like the animation. I'm an animation sucker. So
what were you saying? The problem?
I was just gonna say the problem with What If for me is that the concept is so intriguing, but they picked the most basic what ifs.
Yeah.
Like,
Basic.
what if Peggy got the super soldier serum instead of
The
Steve?
very
And it's
first
like,
fucking episode.
that's boring.
And it was the exact same. It played almost
Doctor
the
Strange's
exact same way. I
episode.
was like, oh, okay.
Because they're the same character.
Yep.
That's
But-
why it's boring. That's also why that ship, I love Peggy, don't get me wrong, but that ship is boring. That's why we never do anything to develop it. We send them back to Peggy and we just close the book. We ain't got to follow
And
that
that's why-
relationship because it's basic.
Yeah, that's why they're apart for so long. Because yeah, you're right. It's just like those two would definitely love each other. They're the same damn thing.
Yeah,
But-
excuse me. Agent Carter, the TV show, it's great. If you haven't watched it, check
I
it
hear
out on
it's
Disney
good. I
Plus.
haven't watched it.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
had to
good.
pick up
Yeah.
that damn T'Challa Star-Lord. Like
That's sick. I love
Oh,
it.
get
that
that, but
was good.
I got
yeah.
Captain Carter too. I like the Captain Carter episode. It just had the problem of not really being too different from the Captain America movies.
I would not have led with that.
The
one as
T'Challa
an
Star-Lord
episode.
stuff was like, I was like, this when I saw that
That was
episode, I
cool.
was like, okay, if we're getting this type of, I'm
Yeah.
down. But then it
It's
just
so
never hit
crazy that it's like that's a fantastic idea of just taking T'Challa and dropping him in Peter Quill's situations and scenarios.
completely different scenario.
Completely
Mm.
like he redeemed Thanos. And it's like that's a cool story. It's kind of a slap in the face of Peter Quill because
I mean, it just goes to show that like T'Challa is just such a noble guy that no matter what scenario he's in, he's going to be so noble and so empathetic that he changes people. Naruto. Now I can't unthink that.
hey, they're
Lawyers.
two goats. We love them. Zombies was a good episode.
that
And
was a
Sharon
good one.
Carter. Yeah.
And Doctor Strange, that was a good episode too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Doctor Strange one was good.
Mhm.
But see, these episodes, I wouldn't call them like, oh my god, like except the
It was
T'Challa
fine,
Star-Lord.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
when they led up to Avengers again, I'm like, really? Okay, so we got a different Avengers team.
I love how Doctor Strange was just, what if he and Christine had chemistry? that was the episode. Because like the episode starts, I legit forgot who Christine was. And then
I knew who she was. It's just been a while for me. Yeah.
Christine, that their pairing, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm ready for them to be done with that couple. Because in
Well, she's
Multiverse
married
of
now.
Madness, it very is like shoehorned in, and it's like there's not enough time to even develop with these two, and y'all always fighting and having problems. I'm done. I'm kind of like, I'm over it with
Love
y'all.
is
I'm
not
over
blind.
I think Sam Raimi was like, you guys are really over here wasting Rachel McAdams. I got to find a way to make her relevant in this story at least once.
I gotta watch that movie.
I saw where I had Multiverse of Madness. I had that shit at 9 out of 13. I was disappointed.
It just felt like episode 10 of WandaVision to me. I mean, it was fine. I
Loved
enjoyed
all
it.
the Wanda shit. When
It's
she
in
like
my
walks
top
in with
five.
the little WandaVision theme, I was like, hell yeah, bro.
Jeez,
Let's
I know who to call.
go.
Yeah. It was
Everything
yeah,
else-
it didn't feel like a full movie though. It was just like it felt like a 2-hour special event. It felt like a TV special.
Like WandaVision,
Yeah.
like you were saying.
Mm.
Sharon has to pop back up because she's
No,
power
What-
no,
shit.
Tyler, no.
We're good.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know
God.
what? Make her a Skrull. Make her a Skrull. Have Nick Fury incorporate
Love that.
that element into it, and it's like,
I
okay,
was
that's
like,
why she was
why?
able to flip so easily because she's evil.
They really tried to make us care for
our boy Strange
Sharon.
got Rachel McAdams. Now he got Charlize Theron. Like, yeah, he's got a record.
Yes, sir. It's
All
like
right,
Danny
guys,
LaRusso getting the ladies. Danny LaRusso, he was getting the ladies. I don't care what anybody says.
Did we have any final thoughts on Black Panther? Anything else we wanted to touch on?
It's a banger.
It's a banger.
Banger.
Namor said,
Yeah.
"Water tribe."
We need that. Like, we need this in Best Picture. So Marvel, push it
It does.
Push it, please.
Push it.
to the
Forget
limit.
everything else.
Limit.
Forget all the other
'Cause we're
movies.
in it to win it. In it
Oh
to
yeah.
Jesus, you guys know that we grew up watching Disney Channel.
Millennials, man. What are you gonna do?
Jacoby saying Multiverse of Madness got better on a rewatch. I probably better rewatch it because I saw it
I
one
need to.
time. I was so disappointed.
Same.
I am happy for you because it got worse for me on a rewatch. That's why I hate on it so
Yeah,
much.
my-
Remember, I gave it a 6
Oh wait,
out
I
of
was on
10.
your chatter after for that, wasn't I?
You were.
That's
Yes.
what I was. Yeah.
Damn, you gave it a 6. Yeah, I think I gave it like a 7, 6.5 or something like that.
I gave it
was
like 7.
Yeah, so like our scores were close, but I rewatched it and it just fell lower.
Mike does not like that movie.
I don't really like it either. But all right, guys, let's go around. Let the people know where they can find you. What's coming up on your channel. Christian, start us off.
All right, so unfortunately, our Twitter is MIA right now. We're going through some difficulties with Twitter, but you can find our podcast, Film Optics, that is Optics with an X, on all major podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and what have you. For us, you can definitely check out our review of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, that's going to be dropping on November 14th on a Monday, just when you want to give people a little bit more time to watch it throughout the weekend. And you can also check out our Causeway review that is available on podcast platforms around the internet. And you can look forward to our Willow episode 1 through 3 review that will be dropping 30th. And I think we're also going to be tackling the menu. Again, you can follow our podcast, Film Optics, that is Optics with an X, on all major podcast platforms. So yeah. Just look for the VHS logo, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I love the
Shame on you, Twitter.
Damn it, Ethan.
Yeah.
It was
Damn it,
my
Elon.
fault. It was a mistake that I made.
No,
and then-
that was not your fault. That was not your fault. We're not about to be on.
How does Twitter not understand that a business can be founded 2 years ago? And it's like, nope, you got to be 13 or old. That's not you.
It's got to be a 13-year-old
They thought
business.
we
I'm
were 4
like,
years
okay,
old,
so
man. I was like, February 2018. They were like, we're taking this away from you.
it's like,
We're
85%
locking the
of
account.
businesses on here are under 13 years old. So, but Mike, let us know where we can find you. What's coming up?
Yeah, you guys, again, thanks for having me, Leo. It's been a blast. You can find me at Novice Cinephile on YouTube, on Twitter for now, hopefully, and on Instagram at the Novice Cinephile, and of course our podcast, The Chatter After. We've got Man of Steel coming up this week, as well as The Dragon Prince. Christian's actually going to be on that episode, so stay tuned for that. That's dropping on Monday as well. Real James is going to be joining us for that one. It's going to be a blast.
Awesome.
And the Amateur Otaku podcast do live streams every Sunday. You can get that wherever you find your podcast and on youtube.com/the Amateur Otaku. Tomorrow, we're talking One Piece, Red, the movie, Bleach, and Chainsaw Man, and maybe Star Wars, because we have a Ghibli short we need to go watch right now on Disney Plus. So make sure you check us out there.
Ooh, I can't wait to check that out, baby, with little Grogu.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Freaking Ghibli,
came so soon.
Yeah, I know they dropped that teaser.
It's
Now it's
shadow
out.
drop,
Jeez.
man. It's just like, oh yeah, that's coming out
Shadows,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Right. Like, oh yeah, we're teasing and working with Lucasfilm. Oh, okay, maybe it's a movie. Nah, it's coming out tomorrow. It's a Grogu short. Okay.
Just like the
Down?
PlayStation 5 pre-orders. They're like, oh, BT dubs, it's dropping tomorrow. And Walmart said, no. we're
Target came in clutch for me.
Forever grateful for Mike for like hooking me up with a PS5. Like I'm forever grateful for you for that. So
And how
Who
you were
bought God of
is
War?
by
Who
playing
bought God of War?
Ragnarok. It's a freaking I'm only 30
It is.
minutes in, and it's already
like
game
4
of the
hours
year.
in.
oh, I can't wait to play. I can't wait to play.
It's
After this
great.
COVID is gone, I'm getting in because I like to collect physicals. I don't like to do the digital.
I think I'm done with physical for now. When it comes to games, I think I'm moving past it because I have a PC. I'm like, why is it my brain's like, digital games and PC's fine, but for some reason consoles had to buy physical. I think I'm done with the physical for consoles for now.
Digital came in clutch for me because I replayed it. I finished the story last night, and then I'm like, am I gonna run up to Best Buy or GameStop or Walmart and try and pick this up? I'm like, nope, download. 16 minutes, booted it up right into it.
I gotta go get the disc. But y'all, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button, guys. We got a lot of content cooking up here on the channel. I have COVID, so unfortunately I haven't been able to see some screenings recently, but we will be back to regular movie reviews as soon as your boy gets better. There's some Marvel content on the way, so definitely be sure to check that out. Guys, like I said, if you're new, follow these wonderful gentlemen on all their social media platforms and check out their content because they are some of my greatest friends in the space, and I'm delighted to have them here on the stream. But y'all, we're wrapping up. Any other thoughts? Leave it down in the comments. Hit that replay button and come on back next time for some more geekly goodness, guys. And we'll see you next time on Geekly Goods.